Hi everyone, good evening. I am Prak Jeng Soo. I think I'm similar to Master Ju Jin-hwan. I first came into contact with these words and it was like panorama that the whole life that I lived. I lived a very diligent life. The single goal is to become wealthy. I lived a life very diligently, but when I received this paper, I had nothing to write down on this paper. I felt very miserable. I couldn't write down anything when I first received this paper. And then, meanwhile, I had this question in my head. So I write this down, and will things change really? Will something happen? Will something be realized really if I do this? Anyone that experienced the same thing as me? I think I didn't have so much confidence, but we had no choice. Now you're having a choice to write it or not write it. But back then, when I received the paper, we went into the room and we had this time to write down the life scenario. And chairman was coming door to door, knocking and guiding us to write this and that, like guiding us how to write it down. And what I felt then is that how we say and how we write down actually guides us in our real life. If we do not do anything, say anything, or write anything down, we don't actually achieve anything. But if we do something, if we say something, write something down, our body just automatically moves. We can do something. So I hope you can write down your life scenarios too. Chairman Park read 250 books and he was able to guide us through the balanced life, and I admire you, Chairman. So Atomy culture was established like this, and life scenario system is now very stabilized, right? So the first Imperial Master Prak Jeng Soo. So have you realized the future that you envisioned back then? Yeah, people realize the things that we envision. I think that's true. Back then, when I was writing down my life scenario, I was living in a small room with my kids. So housing was very important to me. And in the city of Iksan, there was an apartment house for rich people. If I were to live in that apartment house, it could be a luxurious life. It seemed to me it's really luxurious life. So I wanted to live there. That's why I wrote down that apartment house. And I showed the apartment house to my kids, saying that I'm gonna move to this house. Kids, see, okay? And the apartment that I was living in back then, it was not really dissatisfying. But still, I wanted to live in a bigger apartment house. I wanted to be living in a better apartment house, and it really happened. I just followed that in the dream that I envisioned.
And one more thing, which was very important for me, is education. I really wanted my kids to be fluent in English. So I want to send them to overseas countries, but I couldn't afford that. But after writing down my dreams to send my kids to overseas countries, I actually realized that I first studied from the duck soup restaurant, and that's where I built the first center in Iksan. And I have the partners who would invite their potential leaders and customers to the restaurant. But I was not very happy to see them coming to the very poor restaurant. So my dream at the time was to build a great center, and this is the center that I have in Iksan, and this is something that many people come to see. This is the Iksan Center. We are joined by many people, just like a tour. Sometimes we have hundreds of Atomians from overseas countries, and I have a lot of Atomians who want to take a look at my centers. chairman said that Imperial Master Park Jong-soo wrote down the new history in the network marketing. That is because many people became successful in network marketing. After becoming successful, they build some buildings for themselves, but only few people build such buildings that I built for partners. And I am the first one who did that. That's what Chairman Park said. So this building is for my partners and for Atomians. Don't even wonder if you can realize the dreams that you wrote down in your life scenario. Just write them down. And after writing them down, you will naturally take actions. That's what I did. Thank you. The Iksan Center is a very most visited place for Atomians, just like a pilgrimage. And one of my partners said that I also want to build such a center like Imperial Master Park Jong-soo did, and she wrote that down in her life scenario. So you can take time to visit the center, and we can have a coffee break together.